Welcome back. Simple interest video 2. We left off converting months, days into years because in the simple interest formula, I equals PRT, T must be a value in years. So if we're given a problem and it asks you to calculate the interest for 3 months, you have to convert 3 months to years in order to use the simple interest formula, I equals PRT. Next up, we have another page here, simple interest page 2. You can click there. It's a duplicate, but there's a lot of things here we don't need because we're going to move on and actually start applying and building a worksheet for a simple interest formula calculations. So let's go ahead, and the first thing we do is just learn how to hide comments or even delete them, but we'll go ahead and hide them so that they're still there, but we don't see them unless we point to them. So let's click in the principal box here at A6, right click, and then come down here and you'll see there's some options here. You can edit a comment, delete a comment, or hide the comment. Well, let's first try hiding it. So it disappears. Now it's still there because come on back and point, and so it's still there. So that's a way that you can hide it, but it's still available to you. The other thing to do, now if you want to get rid of it completely, you just right click and click delete the comment, and it goes away completely. So that's how you can do that. And so let's go ahead and hide the comments in each of these. And we don't need those numbers. And then we've got a little text box over here that if we click in and make it active, we can click on the border area and press delete. And so that can go away. So we got a nice clean sheet here for us to work with. But if we need to review quickly, we can still come up here and bring back the information, our notes for simple interest. So pause the video if you need to, get that taken care of so you can come back with a worksheet that looks like this. I'm going to start off by just moving this down here to A4. And then starting in B12, can start our problem. Let's go ahead and start with problem number 1 and put in some headings, and the first one is going to be the principal, and then the rate, time, and then we're going to calculate the interest. So interest is equal to P times R times T. Let's go ahead and make columns C through F equal to 20. And put those in the center and put a border underneath it. And then we can go ahead and put this in the center. That might look a little better right there. Problem number 1. So I'll let you pause the video and get that completed and come on back and we will do our first simple interest calculation. So I've put some values in. So our first one, our principal amount is going to be $5,700. So go ahead and key in 5700 and format it as dollars. The rate is going to be 11%, so key in 0.11. Decimal value of 11% is 0.11. We could leave it as such, but let's go ahead and give it a percent style here. Time is 8 months, and you will recall we have to convert that to years because we cannot multiply 5,700 times 11% times this 8 with the word month in it to come up with this interest value here. So we're going to have to convert that. So this is what we're trying to achieve here, is to find out how much money in interest based on a rate of 11% for 8 months, borrowing $5,700. How much interest, additional money, has to be paid back. So let's do this. Let's first calculate time. So we learned from that previous lesson that 8 months, we need to convert that to years. We know there's 12 months in a year, so we can just simply type that in. And so we'll just go ahead and use it as a calculator, equals 8 divided by 12 months. And that will give us the decimal value that we need. 0.6, if we were to round that, 0.67 years is 8 months. So now we have enough information to do this calculation. Equal sign. Now, because we're doing all multiplication, we do not need to use parentheses. It'll be okay just to simply say this one times this one times this one in order to equal the interest. So principal amount times the rate times the time in years. $418. Take a minute to get that calculation, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that. So we borrowed $5,700 at a rate of 11% for 8 months, and the interest amount is $418. So what this means is that you borrowed $5,700, which you have to pay back. But in addition to paying back the $5,700, you also have to pay $418 more. So it's the actual total cost of borrowing the money. You can think of the rate as the price of borrowing that money, but the total cost is based on the price times how much of that money you want to borrow. It's like the price per dollar, 11%. Total amount $418. So you're going to borrow that, $5,700, but you're actually going to pay back the $5,700 plus $418. So another simple way to think of it is just imagine that you go into the bank and say, I would like a bag of money, and in that bag, like a grocery bag, I want there to be $5,700. So I want to borrow it. And they'll say, sure, we'll loan it to you, but it's going to cost you $418 for the bag of money. So remember, you're borrowing it. You don't get to keep it. You borrow it, and then when you bring it back, you have to pay an extra $418. So when you bring that bag of money back, there also has to be an additional $418. If you were just to borrow $5,700 and then 8 months later bring back $5,700, the cost of borrowing the money was zero. You didn't pay anything for it. They just gave it to you, and then you gave it back to them. It's like if you borrow something from a neighbor, a tool. You borrow the tool, use it for a few days, you bring the tool back. You don't bring back 3 tools. You got to borrow it for free. Let's try another one. In fact, let's go ahead and just make all of these in the center. Put in a 2, 3, and 4. And the principal for the next one will be $9,460. The rate, let's do 15%. 15%. See if you can type in that decimal value without me doing it for you. What decimal value is 15%? Good. I heard some of you say it. 0.15. Time. We will do 6 months this time. How much interest? Well, let's first make our worksheet look nice. Dollars, percent. Let's convert that calculation there to time in years. Equals 6 divided by 12. Let's do the calculation. P times R times T in years. $709.50. I'll give you 2 more to do on your own, and then I want to come by and take a look at those. Here we go. $900 at 16% for 7 months. So go ahead and do those on your own, and that will conclude Simple Interest Video 2.